What's the weirdest thing that ever happened to you that made you think that God was real? And I'm not talking about believing in some kind of universal energy. I'm talking about.
I have several stories I could share with y'all about this topic, but I'm going to share the most important one with y'all. So I was in a hospital in Jacksonville, Florida, a little bit over 7 years ago. I had just gotten jumped and robbed and left for dead. Jaw was broken 4 different places, got stabbed in the back, I was bleeding out. It was terrible, right? I was in active addiction. I woke up in the hospital, and in that hospital, I couldn't even talk. I couldn't eat. My mouth was wired shut. I had to stay there for a week. When it was time to leave, I went to sign my paperwork and I realized, I guess I'm homeless now too. I had just lost my family, lost my kids, my marriage, my house, everything. And I really did not care to live anymore. That's why I was doing what I was doing. I was living that lifestyle, right? But I asked God in that hospital bed if he'll just give me a sign, I will change my ways and surrender my life to him. If he'll give me a sign and show me that life is worth living. Because at that point, it wasn't at all. And I was convinced that my time here on earth was done. I asked God to give me a sign. I left that hospital. I walked back to where I had renting a room out, and I knew all my stuff would be stolen because it was in a crack house. In that moment, when I got to the house, I knew that God was with me. I felt something that I have never felt before. And God spoke to me. He whispered in my ear and said, "Son, go to rehab. Get your life together. This time it's going to work." I got on the phone, called a rehab. They had an open bed. Mind you, I was in Jacksonville, Texas. Jacksonville, Florida. I called a rehab in Dallas, Texas. Got on a Greyhound bus, came out here, went through the rehab program, been sober ever since. In that moment, at my lowest part, my lowest time in life, God was right there with me. There's more to the story that if I explain it, you guys are going to think I'm crazy. So I'm not going to get into the other details, but God is real. I've never believed in him my whole life until that moment. God is more than real. And because I believed in him and I'm telling the world about how real and how good he is, my life is better than I've ever imagined it could be. I've been sober for over 7 years now. Completely changed my life. Got my kids back, got my own business, living in the nicest place I've ever lived in. Life is good and I'm happy to be alive now. If God can do that for me, he could do it for you too. But you have to ask him and you have to believe in him. And once he does it, you're going to want to tell the world about him, just like I'm doing. So I wish that for you, okay? God is real, and I hope that you guys can find your relationship with him and he could change you just like he did me. All right? I love y'all. Bless up.